Join me right now on Kumite TV is the Junkyard Dog, Jonathan Gary. What's going on, Jonathan?
What's up, man? What's going on, dude?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. To kick this interview off, I wanted to go back to when you were in Japan in the early 2000s. Take me back to when you first landed in that country.
Oh man, when I first landed in that country, man, I was coming from Pensacola, Florida. Like, I joined the military during Iraqi freedom, so coming from Pensacola, Florida, going straight to the Kitty Hawk that was stationed over there in Japan, you're just like, dang, man, this is a whole new country. Especially as an 18-year-old, you're just like, man, I ain't got no parents, I ain't got no family, and I'm about to go into uncharted territory. And you're just like, is the Japanese people gonna like me, or what am I gonna get into? So, going there, man, I always got influenced with the cars, the Skylines and the Toyotas and stuff, man. I was like, man, I want to do this drift scene so bad, but man, I never got into the drift scene. I got into kickboxing, so I was like, all right, let's try this out and see how it goes, man. And got bit by the bug and just kept going with it ever since, man.
During that time, Pride was going on, K1.
Uh-huh.
What was your first exposure to, those promotions? Did you go to the events?
Oh, definitely, man. I went to a Pride event when I saw Takenori Gomi versus Luis Azeredo. So I was just like, man, and I was one of Gomi's sparring partners at the time, because they were like, oh, man, go ahead and, go spar Gomi. And I was just like, go spar Gomi? Like, man, he's going to kill me, because I only been training for like 7 months. But they were like, yeah, man, just go try it out, man. And I got mollywopped, man. He beat me up because he thought I was like good and technical. But I was like, man, I only been training for 6 months. He's like, oh, big old 18-year-old. Man, but end up going to that, man, because he hooked us up with tickets, so it was actually pretty cool, man, getting to see him like go with that type of caliber guys, man, from all over the world. And you see that, man, just like, and the crowds, it's just crazy, man. It's a surreal experience.
Yeah, a lot of guys that watched Pride and K1, they've watched it from afar, on VHS or on the internet.
Yeah.
You actually went to the events. You were there. Yes. You smelt the smells. You heard the sounds. What can you tell the people when you meet them and talk about that makes it so special?
It's, man, just being over there, just not just in Asia, but just in Pan in general, just in being in the Mecca, man, it's almost an honor, because that's where like everything started, from Kumite to, even the old samurai days, man. You're just looking at that and you actually getting to compete in it, man, and just being in that whole just smack dab in the middle of it, man. It's a surreal experience, man. Even you can tell, even the fighters that go over there just for that fight, like a UFC fight or whatever, they're just like, man, it's crazy. Everybody's so respectful, and the crowds actually appreciate fighting for what it is. It's just an honor in a sport, man. It's amazing.
You started fighting over there in Japan. You've been back and forth throughout the years. What has fighting over there done to you as a fighter? How has it changed you much? Training out there too for a long time too.
Oh, definitely, man. It when I first started, man, I got thrown to the fishes, dude. Like the wolves. Like my first fight was against Gomi's protege. Like the guy's been training with him for like years, and that guy was a combat grappling champion too. And I'm like, man, this guy's he's gonna mollywop me. And this is my first MMA fight. So I end up losing, but I end up fighting again 2 hours later, because being an amateur shooter, they don't care, man. You could fight 7 times in that day, just as long as you keep racking up the records and stuff, man, you're going to be able to go pro as many times. But you have to win the Japan tournament to go pro. You have to place them within the top 3. But man, the competition is heavy. It's very heavy over there. And being the only American there, man, you do stand out though. But everybody's going to know who you are, because you're the only American in it. So, man, it's just crazy.
Training out there, what have you taken from that style of training and kind of brought it back stateside and introduced it to the guys that you train with now?
Just the trickiness and the slick. Man, their ground game out there in Japan, man, is very second to none. Training with guys like Michihiro Omagawa and Katsumura and Kao Uno and all those, legends that actually started the sport for what it is. Man, they have so many tricks up their sleeves. Even those guys that are starting to now come up, man, it's ridiculous, man. Like, bringing that over here, not a lot of American guys get to see that and everything, but the different techniques that American guys have, man, it kind of counteracts a little bit what they have in Japan, though. But it just depends on how you work the style. But once you get both of them, oh man, it's immaculate, dude. It's a sweet science for everything, man, from jiu-jitsu all the way to the stand-up. Because I mean, Japan out there, they have really good kickboxers out there too. So I mean, you see it from everywhere, man. Those Asian guys, man, they're in it, man. Especially in Korea too, man. I trained out there at Korean top team a couple of times out there in Seoul, and man, you see those guys, they're killers, man. They're killers out there, dude.
Oh, were you out there when the Zombie was part of the team?
No, not when Zombie was part of the team. I didn't get out there when he got out there, man. But I trained out there with what's his name? It was like Doohoon Kim, Stun Gun was out there, man, and another uppercomer was out there too that was fighting in Deep at the time. So man, those guys are so technical, man. It's so precise, especially when it comes to striking, man. Like I would have to say, man, it's a toss up between Korean MMA and Japanese MMA, man. Those guys, I say the Koreans right now are running shop, but when it comes to going in there, man, I have to say Koreans right now versus Japan.
It's always the battle between who's better, the Korean MMA fighters or the Japanese MMA fighters, and
right.
it is a toss up, man. There's guys on both sides that are doing their thing. Like you got Horiguchi running Ryzen, running Bellator now. Right?
Too, right?
And man, you got the Zombie out there, knocking the number 5 ranked guy in less than a minute. It's crazy.
What a comeback, man. That comeback was crazy, man. Especially coming out of military service and hopping right back into the UFC, man. That's nuts, man.
Now you're returning back to the Bellator cage after 2 years away. How did this matchup with Keifer Crosbie come together?
Well, it came together, man. They were basically, I was just looking for a fight, and I talked to Jane Estico. I was like, hey, do you have any guy, for a 155 fight or 145 fight? They were like, oh no, we don't have anybody for those, but we got this guy at 165, Kiefer Crosbie. I was like, all right, cool, I'll take it. They were like, okay, sure. And so that's how it works, man. Like they're always gonna ask me to fight somebody, man. I don't care. Like you're gonna fight the toughest guys in the sport, man. Once you get over like 12 some odd fights, whatever, man, you're gonna fight the toughest guys. So why not? Who cares? I don't give a care if it's Khabib. I'll fight Khabib on the next day notice too. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the experience, man. It's all about the sport. That's all it is, man. It's just business. I know a lot of guys, they take it personal, but hey, it is what it is. It's a fight. Let's go out here and handle it, man.
Yeah, I believe that this is a great opportunity for you, a veteran like you, to kind of face a young up-and-comer in Crosbie. He's undefeated. He has some hype. If you go in there and do what you need to do, it puts you up there, in Bellator and kind of, solidifies your status a little bit. What are your thoughts on Crosbie and his skill set?
Oh man, he's really good, man. I mean, coming to those guys out of SPGRL, man, you see them been running over stuff in Europe for a while now, man, and he's really tough, man. He's willing to go the distance, man, and he's willing to, sit there and bang with you. So I'm expecting a good fight out of him, But I mean, when it really looks at it, the pressure's on him. I don't really care about fighting in my hometown. It's really not my hometown because it's about 2 hours away from me. So it really doesn't matter. But he has to show up because he's officially signed with Bellator. I'm not. I can go off and get another fight if I need to, but he's got to keep his status in Bellator. He's got to stay relevant. He's got Conor McGregor on his team. So a lot of pressure riding on him. I don't care. I'm always willing to play upset if I need to.
Now, training for this fight, where have you worked mostly, and who are the coaches that you've been working with?
Well, I've been working with Sensei Pat Perez in judo a lot. I've been working with Matt Greisen wrestling, and I've been working with Mike Giroux in Muay Thai. So trying to get the best with the best coaches here in Oklahoma, because not a lot of gyms have a lot of, everything is just in one place. You have to really travel just to go to other places. So it's not too bad. Even though Oklahoma's kind of spread out, you still get a chance to get good work with the guys. Was
having this fight in Oklahoma a big benefit for you to kind of just stay at home and just work with the guys near where you're at?
Yeah, kinda. I kind of miss Albuquerque too. You know what I'm saying? Because I miss all my training partners out there, man. All those guys are going to give you good work, but a lot of these guys out here, they're up and comers also, and a lot of them have a really good solid base, so they're going to give you good work no matter what, and they're going to push you to your limits because they want to see you succeed also. So it's always really good to kind of just work it at home, and plus I'm around a little bit of family and all that thing too, so it's always kind of good for that.
You know, a fight, it can go 50 different ways. But when you envision this fight, when you lay your head down, how do you see it going down?
Oh, man, my hand's raised. My hand's raised. I don't care if it's going to be a decision or if you're going to get a knockout, man. I'm just expecting a hard, clean, tough fight, man. If we go the distance, it goes the distance. Like, I can't really give you the whole fight of the unknown, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody really knows. I can say oh, hey, I'm going to win by knockout or I'm going to win by submission. No, I'm just coming out here to fight, man. That's all it is. I'm getting my hand raised at the end. Hey, pressure bust pipes. That's all I got to say.
You mentioned earlier that Crosbie, he's signed to Bellator. You are basically just taking one fight, you know, a one-off with them. You know, what are your plans with Bellator? You know, you get this win. Do you plan on signing a long-term deal with them? Is that what you want to do?
I mean, that'd be nice. I mean, they got to come up with the offer first. I mean, they haven't really spoke to me in the past about it or anything like that. I mean, if I'm a journeyman and they was like, hey, we're coming to Oklahoma, would you mind fighting? Hey, it is what it is. If Korea asks me tomorrow to come fight, I'll go fight in Korea. Japan asks me, I'll go fight in Japan, Brazil. It's whatever, man. Whatever the call is, I'm always going to stay ready to make sure I sign the contract. I always have a pen ready.
All right, man. Well, July 12th, Bellator 224, Thackerville, Oklahoma. Thanks, Jonathan, for your time, and good luck on your future, man.
Thank you. All right, man. Thank you so much, dude. And shout out to all the Korean fans out there, man. I hope y'all stay in 10. All the fans out there in Asia, man, tune in, man. It's going to be a great fight. You know, Bellator, we always put on good shows no matter what fight it is. So, hey, expect some fireworks.